Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Cuyahoga County Public Works Procurement and Contracting Committee meeting, April 17th, 2024. Janine, would you please call roll?
And just as a reminder to all who are in attendance, this meeting is being recorded and live streamed on the county's YouTube page. Calling the roll, Mr. Byrne.
Here.
Mr. Miller.
Here.
Conwell is absent. Mr. Sweeney.
Present.
Ms. Turner is absent. There is a quorum.
Thanks, Janine. Do we have any public comment this morning?
No, Mr. Chair, no one is signed in.
Excellent. Everyone's had an opportunity to take a look at the minutes from the March 6th meeting. Any questions, comments?
I'll make a motion to approve them.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Appreciate that. All right, we're on to item number 5 on the agenda today.
Resolution number 2024-0126, authorizing an amendment to contract number 4087 with RPF Properties for lease of office space and parking spaces for the Meadowbrook Market Square Plaza Auto Title Bureau located at 22121 Rockside Road, Bedford.
Good morning, Cuyahoga County Public Works Procurement and Contracting Committee. John Myers on behalf of the Department of Public Works, here today seeking authority to renew a lease for the Auto Title Division of the Fiscal Officer for a satellite title office for ease of public use located on Rockside Road in the city of Bedford. This is for a 5-year renewal. This is the first amendment. We're adjusting the square footage a little bit, just a few feet from the original to accurately reflect the square feet. We're adding 5 years, and this is for a total of $297,353.88. They are co-located next to the State BM Bureau of Motor Vehicles and the State License Bureau, providing those 3 services in one location for the public.
Excellent. Any questions, comments?
I have a question.
Councilman Miller?
How is the rent changing from what we're currently paying, if at all?
Mr. Chairman and Councilman Miller, I forgot to, there's a 2%, this had been negotiated at the outside. So we're doing what's already in the contract, but which was a 2% raise per year for these next 5 years.
Councilman Sweeney?
No, I'm good. Just keep up the good work, Mr. Myers.
Thank you.
Anything else, Councilman Miller?
No, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Mr. Myers, moving forward, requesting.
Yes, we'd like, Mr. Chairman, thank you. We'd like to make a request that this be passed on second reading. While we have funds available under the original contract, we're nearing the expiration term, and would ask that it be approved on second reading.
No, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, Councilman.
I think we like to approve these contracts before their start date, whenever possible. So I'll make a motion to recommend the resolution favorably for second reading suspension.
And I will second that second that motion.
You working on a song or something?
Yes.
I'm just not going to comment anymore right now.
Well, I appreciate Councilman Miller and Councilman Sweeney. Thank you. So all those in favor of moving this to the second reading under suspension are in favor of Mr. Myers, so we'll get that taken care of next meeting.
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you all very much.
Thank you. We move on to item 5B.
Resolution number 2024-0138, making an award on requisition number 13801 to Warren Roofing and Insulating Company in the amount not to exceed $589,567.49 for partial recladding of the Cuyahoga County Justice Center Jail Connector.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, committee members. Matt Reimer, Facilities Design and Maintenance Administrator for the Department of Public Works. For this contract, this is a construction contract that seeks to make repairs to a certain portion of the Justice Center facilities. And I do have a very short presentation just to show you where we've been with our facade maintenance program and how this project will cap our third and final phase of that effort. If I could with the clerk, thank you. So the picture that you see here, I will refer back to at the end of the presentation, but this is the location of the scope of the project. You may have seen this as if you're driving down West 3rd, north or southbound. This is the area between Jail 1 and Jail 2 where the sheriff's garage entrance is located. So this will be the area of construction for this project. We started our facade maintenance program in 2018 when the city's facade exterior wall and appurtenances ordinances took effect. Our Justice Center complex is required to comply with that ordinance. And so we conducted our required inspections in 2018 and then started our construction repair cycle for that. We also did our repeat inspections in 2023. It's a 5-year cycle. So we started in 2020 with our actual repair work. We did an extensive facade repair work to the Justice Center Tower 2, which is the former police building headquarters name of that building. We did a lot of exterior wall panel repair and masonry repair you see reflected in that picture. Our county trades performed that phase of work. Last year in 2023, we did extensive work under a construction contract with M&A Building Services approved by the Board of Control. That contract value was about $469,000, and it conducted all of our facade repairs for the Courts Tower and Jail 1 granite facades. You can see just some sample pictures of them performing that work vertically. Here's an example of the kind of repairs that were conducted during that contract last year. In the picture on the left, you can see the cracked granite panel, and to the right, you can see the repaired panel with a stitched epoxy repair. Similarly, in that contract, you can see some other kinds of repairs that were done. On the picture to the left, a Dutchman repair where a new panel piece was stitched in. We did extensive street-level column repairs on West 3rd. And then the picture on the right was on the south side of the Courts Tower, about 14 floors up, and it was a panel anchoring repair that was needed following that severe weather event on August 25th. So back to, so that's a recap of where we've been in the last 4 years of repairs on the Justice Center, Courts Tower, Jail 1, and the Tower 2 granite facades. This project that we're proposing, or that we're asking for award here today, is specific in scope to an area of the Justice Center that's referred to as the jail connector. It's the lower portion of the picture behind the scaffolding is the area of the project scope. Right now, on the second floor of that space, it's where the clerk of courts resides, the county clerk of courts. In addition, the space that's not shown by window line on the first floor is a connection between the Jail 1 and Jail 2 structures, a public entry to get over to the Jail 2 side. The impetus for this project was, you look at the pictures on the right, in 2018, we had a panel failure indicated by the area of the red arrow. That panel, we did a structural evaluation of why it failed, and we looked at, our structural engineer determined that based on the embedment length of the original anchoring system and the age of the epoxy, that there was areas of concern. We first looked to establish where this detail exists to see how widespread it was, and it is only on that lower clerk of courts structure that we're repairing here in this contract. So that's just a quick recap. What we'll be doing on that face, this is a rendering of the same picture with the scaffolding in front of it. We'll be removing the granite panels on the entire perimeter, the 3-side perimeter of that lower portion of the jail connector, and replacing it with a metal sided rain screen, which has been approved by the city through our plan review process. And with respect to the contract itself, this was a request for bids that went out between December 15th and closed on January 22nd of this year. We had two bid responses to this contract effort. Both were underneath the engineer's estimate. Both were compliant administratively with the purchasing, technically from our review, as well as DEI compliant. And the award recommendation to Warren Roofing represents the lowest bid of $589,000 and change, which was below the $805,000 estimate of our engineer. Happy to answer any questions that you may have on this project, technically, or the contract as proposed.
Councilman Miller or Sweeney? Councilman Miller?
Mr. Chair, Mr. Reimer, how much was the other bid for?
The other bid was for $746,500 and was M&A
Quite a
Building
bit on
Services.
competitive bidding.
Correct. There was an extensive bid range there between you consider the estimate and the low bid.
And when you said that there was a panel failure, in what sense did the panels fail?
The panel failed to adhere to its installed anchoring and dropped below. Thankfully, in a non-public area, it was in a mechanical area behind the, if you're familiar with the St. Clair Courtyard, that is between the Justice Center facilities and atrium. It fell behind, Janine, if I could pull up that presentation one more time. So if you can look at the pictures on the far right of that screen, Councilman, the panel failed above and dropped and hit the a lower soffit area and then fell behind a mechanical piece of equipment, and you can see the shattered panel below it. In another picture that I will get back to, if you look at the picture on the lower right of this slide, it was behind that piece of mechanical equipment that the panel failed.
Mr. Chairman, Mr. Reimer, what's the estimated time of completion on this work?
We have 145 days of contract completion from notice to proceed, which would put us in about the September timeframe if the contract were awarded.
And Mr. Chairman, Mr. Reimer, what other things urgently have to be done at the Justice Center at this time?
Thanks for that question, Councilman, through the chair. The things that urgently, in the opinion of my facilities team, that need to be considered are reflected in the budget book, in the capital plan for the 2024 year for those projects that are labeled Justice Center. And those are the things that we're working on in design at present. They include this project first and foremost. They also include some repairs to the tunnel system going from Huntington Park Garage to the Justice Center. We have atrium water intrusion repairs. We have some security alterations to the maximum security area of the jail in the shower areas for safety of staff. We have some domestic and sanitary sewer water line modifications that we need to make for continued operations. We're in design on roof repairs and replacements on a couple of different areas of the facility. We have some mandated accessibility improvements in Jail 2 as a result of recent legislation and class action settlement. And we're also a design on the Tower 2 elevator system, the police building elevator system, to modernize those to be code compliant into the future.
And Mr. Chairman, Mr. Reimer, what's the total cost estimate for all of these projects, not including the current one?
Not including the current one, about $7.4 million, inclusive of the current one, just under $8 million, Councilman.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Councilman Sweeney?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Reimer, how are you?
Good, Councilman.
Public Works and you in particular have a tough balancing act with this current facility and trying to keep it going while hopefully we're going to be building a new jail. And through the chair, this is just all the stuff that has to be done.
To answer that,
This one, it has to be, and then the ones
Yes.
in the budget.
Yes, Councilman, through the chair, we took a critical eye as we put together the capital plan for this year and what's reflected in the budget book to look, knowing that we had a defined path on the jail construction, new facility, an undefined path as of yet on the Justice Center as a whole. We looked critically at what projects need to be done in the 4 to 5 year time horizon to keep operations going at the current facility, as opposed to deferring and waiting. So we did put a critical eye towards that, and this is what's in the budget book reflects our technical recommendation on what needs to proceed. This project included, yes.
Yeah, I just want you to relax for a second, because this is kind of defined path. I'm not all into the defined path for our new jail going out there. It looks like on a piece of paper, it says this, and this says this how many timeline, and we got a little contract here. But knowing bureaucracy in government, everything gets to the finish line.
Right.
And having to make sure this building stays intact to be able to do our job as stewards to the people that work, reside, and do business there is incredibly complicated for you. And the balance of money to keep it going, to maybe sell it or tear it down in a time frame that we really don't know for sure, pouring money into a hole that may never come out of. That's what my biggest concern is here. And I'm going deeper. This is great. It's going to pass. But I wanted to just publicly share my thoughts on this thing and congratulate you on, or commend you basically on the efforts that you put forth in regards to trying to figure this one out. And it's not easy. And that's my soliloquy. But I'm getting calls from some of my constituents. Is there a nutshell bullet point of why that physical structure? I got the question, why build a jail out there, right? A new jail is not going to make it any better in regards to caring for the prisoners. And I wanted to talk about the structure itself and the functionality, how poor it is and how it deteriorated over time. If you would have a little bullet point for me on that, because I remember it all, but I couldn't spit it out the way I wanted to. And then it's just the management of the jail with the administrator and his workforce. That's a separate thing. But through the chair, is that something you could, there's no rush on it. I just want to refresh myself.
Through the chair to the councilman, from my experience, and I don't want to pretend to speak for my director or my leadership, but just from my experience with the jail, we know by documentation that there are programmatic deficiencies with the current facility, and those programmatic deficiencies would have to be addressed with either a major renovation of the current facility or the new facility as the path is.
So that's my public asking for it, because instead of chasing you and ask it this way, because it's on my mind. You can email me, whatever. It's nothing has to be super detailed. It's just what you just talked about, whatever words you put in line there. Mr. Chairman, thank you for letting me go on my soapbox and have a soliloquy for this particular moment of this committee.
I enjoy every time you get up on that soapbox.
That is not an accurate statement.
Through the chair to the councilman, I will provide that response through our department, yes.
And thank you for your efforts in something that's, I'm telling you, it's not easy to figure out and protect, through the chair, to protect the taxpayers' dollars. That's
At the same time, providing a safe and secure environment for those that work there and those that are detained there and so forth, right? Right. Mr. Reimer, if you don't mind, just a couple questions I have for clarification. It's been a while since I've been in the Justice Center.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
From the pictures here, do we utilize the Sally Port still?
Yes, the Sally Port is used. We recently, in early 2023, put the final touches on the central booking renovation, which modernized and expanded the entire booking area from a physical standpoint. And yes, that legacy Sally Port is the entry point for intake for jail operations.
Excellent.
Yes.
And then in this resolution too, when it refers to partial recladding, is that the granite panels?
Yes, we made the decision not to go back with granite. Number one, it was almost double as expensive to be able to do that. But two, looking at the potential future of the facility and minimizing costs, as well as it is a relatively low-profile portion of the structure, not not extensively visible on the three main corners of the granite buildings, that we felt that this was a better material selection for the recladding. So yes, the recladding refers to the removal of the granite in those locations and going back with the metal panel rain
Excellent.
screen system.
And like I said, it's been quite a while since I've been in there. What about the building that was the police department?
Yes.
Is that being utilized?
It is extensively. The county purchased that building. I'm going to get my year wrong. I believe we closed on the building in 2018. That was an extensive process and negotiation, and we've put a lot of capital dollars into that building to make it occupiable. The tenants in that building include Court of Common Pleas Probation Department, in your analysis lab, the Sheriff's Department, various operations from the Sheriff's team, and Legacy Division of Police functions as well, to include the Chief's office and command structure and other components of the Division of Police.
Excellent. And I want to, once again, tell you I appreciate the tour you gave me at the new, I refer to it as the new Juvenile Detention Center. And if you don't mind, maybe we could schedule something for the Justice Center. I'd enjoy a tour and see
Would very
what
much
needs to be
appreciate that.
done and what has been done.
Yes, Mr. Chair, we can do that, absolutely.
Okay. Maybe I'll get Councilman Sweeney to. I'll be your driver. Excellent.
Okay.
Okay. Anything else from Mr. Reimer? All set?
Do we need suspension?
Yes, I was going to just ask.
Mr. Chair, Councilman, that would be requested and appreciated. Not so much that there's a hard deadline, but we want to make sure that we complete this project within the construction season before the cold weather turns in the fall, and so we would like to get started as soon as possible if considered.
So I need a motion to suspend.
I'd like to make the motion to second reading suspension.
Second.
And we're all in favor of that, so I will move on. Thank you, Councilman Miller and Councilman Sweeney. Thank you, Mr. Reimer, for the
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
presentation today.
Excuse me, Mr. Chair, I'm sorry, you need to do a voice
You
vote.
just said we're all, you just,
Oh,
you just
the-
power
all
played
the-
us. I was just sitting there.
Well, I was pretending I was you for a minute. All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Thank you, Janine. Any miscellaneous business?
None, Mr. Chairman.
Excellent. If I don't hear that, motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Excellent. Thank you.